Some of the biggest mistakes I hear from people who move to Central Florida starts with this sentence. Oh man, I wish I knew that before I bought my house. Not every area in Orlando is bad, but there are some specific situations and locations that cost buyers thousands and thousands of dollars when it comes to insurance, resale, or lifestyle. And if you're relocating to Central Florida, this video can save you a huge mistake that could follow you for years and years and years. And before we start this video, let me introduce myself first. My name is Pedro, and I help relocation buyers and families make better life decisions when they are coming close to Disney. One of the biggest relocation mistakes that I see from buyers is sometimes they are always looking for the cheapest home, no matter where they are. For example, I've seen buyers save $30,000 on a home, but they forget to take into consideration insurance, for example. One of the biggest mistakes relocation buyers make is to be always chasing for the cheapest home. Let's say you find a home that is $30,000 cheaper, but you don't take into consideration the age of the roof or the HVAC situation. In those cases, if you close that deal, you're going to pay more for insurance, and you're also going to pay more for repairs down the road. Thus, a cheaper home doesn't necessarily mean a cheaper monthly payment or a good lifestyle. Now, when it comes to flood zones and insurance traps, there are some areas that you should avoid in order to pay less and less insurance. And these areas are usually part of East Orlando, near Lake Conway or Conway Road, low-lying pockets near Shingle Creek, and selected areas across Kissimmee and Osceola County. Now, that doesn't mean you cannot buy in those areas or cities. You just have to be aware of your risks and understand how to look for flood zones and insurance premiums. And I had buyers before that fell in love with the home, knowing later that the monthly payment they were supposed to make would increase by hundreds of dollars just because there was flood insurance they needed to pay. And another huge mistake I see people make every other day is they tend to look for places close to Disney, but they forget to look if that specific community allows long-term or short-term rental. And why am I telling you that? Think about this. If you want to live a calmer lifestyle, let's say, and you end up buying a home at a community that allows Airbnb, what do you think is going to happen every single week? People are going to throw parties, people are going to get drunk, people are going to go to the clubhouse and do whatever they want, and they don't really care if they have to pay fees or fines to the community. And when that happens, you're going to be overwhelmed by new neighbors every week, noise, and sometimes even people littering right next to your home. Do you want that? So I'll give you some areas to avoid if you're really looking into a place close to Disney. Avoid Champions Gate, Story Lake, Encore, Solar Resort, Windsor Cay, Windsor at West Side, parts of Kissimmee and Davenport, super close to Disney as well. And don't get me wrong, all right? These areas are super great for investors, but they're terrible for someone that wants to live close to Disney. You can pick different areas, for example, Winter Garden that only allows long-term rentals, and you're going to end up avoiding gas turnover and, of course, noise. As I always say, every single family, every single buyer has a different goal, has a different mindset. And some of them, they prefer to buy resale homes. Others, they prefer to buy new construction. Older homes are not necessarily bad, but you should exactly know what to search for in order to mitigate all your risks going forward. Here is how you can spot common issues early in your negotiation. First, roof age. If the house is older than 12 years, you're going to need to replace the entire roof, or the seller needs to do it for you. If you don't, just be prepared because the insurance is going to rise up super quickly. Second, electric panels. Panels like Federal Pacific and Zinsco can be a huge red flag, and they can damage your home and your safety. These are common in homes that were built before 1990s. Third, plumbing. Some old homes, they probably have some galvanized or cast iron pipes, which are super costly to replace. Fourth, you need to understand wind mitigation. Some newer homes, they are already prepared, and you can get some discounts in terms of insurance when it comes to that. And last but not least, if you're buying an older home, just make sure you have the renovation sheet for you to understand how much you need to put in that home so that home looks like exactly how you want it without any flaws, any defects, and any risk. Now, if you want my help to identify which neighborhoods and homes make sense to you, to your lifestyle, and your family, just reach out to me. I'm going to drop below all the information you need to get in contact. And if you prefer, my phone number is 415-604-7557. I help families every single week make better life decisions when they are relocating. And one last mistake I see people making all the time is when they really fall in love with a home and they scrap commuting completely out of the picture. I'll give you a simple example now. Let's say you really liked a home super close to I-4, close to Disney, but you have to drive an hour to go to work. Are you really willing to sacrifice your lifestyle just to drive 2 hours a day to go and come back? Keep in mind that traffic impacts lifestyle more than people think, and that can cause a really, really stressful life that nobody wants. And how a smart buyer actually wins. They win when they don't ask where's the cheapest house, but they are strategic. They are strategic with location. They're strategic with the year of the house they want to buy. They're strategic with their lifestyle. They're strategic with the schools they need to stay nearby. And they're strategic with their life decisions. That's how you win in Central Florida. Now again, if you're really thinking about relocating to Central Florida, don't hesitate. Reach out to me. All the links are in the description of this video. My phone number again is 415-604-7557. And I'll be honored to earn your trust and help you make a better life decision based on your goals, based on your family, and based on your strategies. Thank you so much for staying in this video, and see you next time.